I'll be honest with you, I personally feel uncomfortable around conflict. Maybe you do too. But here's the truth most people miss. Conflict isn't the enemy. The way we argue is. If you learn how to argue well, arguments can become one of your most useful tools. And today I'm going to show you exactly how. I've sat across tables from people in divorce, politics, and business who thought the other side was beyond reason. If you've ever been in an argument so frustrating it felt non-negotiable, congratulations, you're human. Look around the world today and you'll see the same pattern. Tribalism. The other side speaks, and we refuse to listen. We try to silence them to make ourselves feel superior. That's the tribal trap. The problem is not what we're arguing about, the problem is how we argue. There are 3 barriers that turn ordinary disagreements into destructive fights. Master these 3 and you change the game. They are identity, appreciation, and affiliation. Let's unpack each one with stories, exact phrases to use, and short exercises you can practice immediately. Identity, why arguments feel like attacks. Most heated arguments aren't about facts, they're about identity. When someone questions your view, your brain hears an attack on who you are. Imagine a simple family dinner. A cousin says, "That's the silliest opinion I've ever heard." The comment lands like a punch. It's not a debate anymore. Your pride, your role in the family, your sense of self get hooked. Your chest tightens, your voice raises, and suddenly you're defending not an idea, but you. That's identity getting hijacked. Our beliefs are woven into our personal story. I'm a fair person. I'm responsible. I care about justice. When someone questions that belief, it feels like a threat to survival. Ancient wiring. The brain's fastest response is to protect the story. Fight, flee, or freeze. Notice the heat. Your heart rate spikes, you clench your jaw, your sentences shorten. That's your identity being triggered. The first tool is labeling. Silently tell yourself, my identity is being challenged. The label creates a 2 to 3 second gap where rational choice returns. When you feel hooked, say calmly, I want to pause. This is getting personal for me. I'm feeling defensive because this matters to who I am. Saying this out loud does 2 things. It signals self-awareness, and it invites the other person to see you as a human, not an opponent. Most people soften in response. Lower your voice by 1 register. Softer voices de-escalate. Open your palms slowly and place them on the table. Open palms signal non-threat. Breathe longer exhalations. A long exhale reduces adrenaline. Think of a topic that triggers you. Practice labeling the feeling and saying the script aloud 3 times. It's awkward at first, that's the point. You're retraining the autopilot. Appreciation. The surprising shortcut out of anger. The fastest way out of defensive conflict is to make the other person feel heard. Appreciation is not agreement, it is recognition. Humans calm faster when they feel understood. Why it works? We are wired for social validation. Feeling understood reduces the fight response. Appreciation lowers defensive posture so substance can be discussed. Picture a debate about immigration at a workplace meeting. 2 colleagues write each other off. One decides to try something different. She listens. 10 minutes of uninterrupted listening, and then she says, I hear that you're worried about job security and fairness. I understand why that scares you. No concession, just recognition. The other person's shoulders drop. The tone changes. Suddenly facts, not feelings, drive the conversation. How to practice the 10-minute listen. Tell the other person, give me 10 minutes to hear your view. I won't interrupt. They'll be surprised. Your job, listen for values. What are they trying to protect? Safety? Freedom? Fairness? Reflect back in 1 sentence. So what I'm hearing is X and that matters because Y. Exact lines to use. I want to understand, can you tell me what matters most to you here? After listening, I hear you. That makes sense given what you care about. Nod slowly, lightly signals processing, not agreement. Repeat key words the other person used. Mirroring the language builds connection. Keep eye contact soft, not intense. Intense eye contact can feel like a stare down. Why people resist appreciation and how to overcome it. Many fear appreciation shows weakness. It doesn't. It's a strategic, high-skill move. When you make the other person feel seen, you create the space to bring your own point without flames. Practice challenge. In one disagreement, try the 10-minute listen. No interruptions. Then reflect and tell me what changes. You will notice the argument becomes less about proving a point and more about resolving a problem. Affiliation. Turn me versus you into us versus the problem. The most powerful shift in any argument is reframing the relationship from adversaries to collaborators. Instead of, I'm right, ask, how can we solve this together? Why it works. We language triggers cooperative neurochemistry. People literally move from defensive to cooperative mental states. Problems become external objects, not personal attacks. Two roommates fight over chores, it's personal, resentments, old jokes, and shorthand. Instead of keeping score, one says, okay, forget blame for a minute. We both want a pleasant home. What would a fair solution look like for both of us this week? They co-create a plan and agree to test it for 2 weeks. The fight becomes an experiment, not a verdict. The resentment dissolves into practical steps. How to ask better questions. What problem are we actually trying to solve? If we both got what we wanted, what would that look like? What small step could we test for 14 or 30 days to see if this works? Scripts to use in escalation. Let's pause and figure out the problem together. Tell me one thing you want that I could actually help with. What's one small change we can test this week to see if our situation improves? Physically pivot your torso slightly so you're oriented toward the same space. Nonverbal, we're together. Use shared metaphors. Let's build a bridge, or let's fix the leaking pipe. Shared imagery builds shared intent. Frame proposals as experiments. Let's try this for 2 weeks and feedback. Experiments depersonalize the outcome. How to handle people who refuse affiliation. Some people want to win, not solve. If affiliation fails, set a meta rule. We'll run an experiment and reassess, or let's bring in a neutral third party. Keep the high ground. Practice exercise. Next time a workplace conflict flares, propose a 1-week experiment that addresses both parties' needs. Keep it concrete. Report results. Use data, not promises. A simple 3-step routine. When conflict arrives, use this 3-move sequence like a lens. 1. Name the hook, identity. I'm getting a bit defensive here. This matters to me. Pause. Breathe. 2. Appreciate. Listen. Tell me what matters to you. I want to understand, reflect the underlying value. 3. Affiliate. Reframe. How can we solve this so both of us get something we need? Propose a concrete experiment. Say it slowly, use the micro cues. The goal isn't to win the argument, but to convert conflict into problem solving. Bigger picture. Imagine if we all did this. If millions of people applied these 3 skills, identity awareness, appreciation, and affiliation, public debate would shift. Not overnight, not perfectly, but gradually. Politics would become less theater and more problem solving. Workplaces would be less about blame and more about iteration. Families would fight less to win and more to thrive. It starts small, one conversation at a time. One person deciding to be curious instead of combative. These are powerful tools. Use them to build understanding and solve problems. Never to manipulate, gaslight, or dominate. If your aim is control at someone else's expense, don't use these techniques. If your aim is mutual clarity and better outcomes, you're on the right path. So, to recap, the 3 barriers that turn arguments toxic are identity, appreciation, and affiliation. Learn to spot the identity hook. Practice genuine appreciation by listening for values, and reframe fights as shared problems to build affiliation. Which of these three will you practice this week? Type identity, appreciation, or affiliation in the comments, and say who you'll try it with. I read every comment. If you found this useful, hit like, subscribe, and share this with one person who needs a better way to argue. Arguing well doesn't mean you agree on everything. It means you know how to stay human while you disagree. Argue wisely, start practicing today,